And here with reaction to my open and all the developments this week with the release of the Mueller report, President Trump's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, who joins me now and who no doubt is exhausted. Good evening, Mr. Giuliani. How are you? Mr. Mayor?
How are you, Judge? It's great to see you.
It's good to have you on. Listen, I gotta stick with one thing because we're both lawyers here. Have you ever in your lifetime heard a prosecutor say, we're not going to indict, but I can't exonerate the guy either? Have you ever heard that one?
Well, I was sitting there locked away in the Justice Department SCIF, which is where we read the report on last Tuesday. It's on the second page of Volume 2. I started with Volume 2. I looked at it, and I don't want to tell you what I said. I can't repeat it. And I had my three co-counsel with me, Jay Sekulow and Jane and Marty Raskin.
Yep.
And we all said, well, this is going to be a totally illegitimate document. Yeah. This is a ridiculous burden of proof. You got to prove your innocence? I thought we were in America, or maybe England, even Rome. I mean, you go back 2,000 years.
Right.
So, but, you know, I was glad they did that because they proved in that one sentence that the idea that this is a witch hunt is absolutely right.
Right.
I mean, when has any human being ever been required to prove their innocence? How can you prove a negative?
You cannot.
It also means they assumed him guilty. And if you read that report, that's like a one-sided view as if they proved all that stuff.
Right.
They didn't prove any of it, Judge. And they can't prove half of it. And half of it is false, like a lie. Everything in that Cohen section, you could burn it.
Interesting.
Is there anybody that believes Michael Cohen? And would he even get past, 10 minutes of cross-examination? They'd have to take him off the witness stand.
Well, but it is their standard. If you've got a Brett Kavanaugh before the Senate, he's presumed guilty. If you're a Republican, you're presumed guilty. The presumption of innocence doesn't apply, and everybody needs to be believed but you. And that is a sad commentary. And I have to tell you, Mr. Mayor, I think Americans are looking at that. But I want to keep moving. Now, Jerry Nadler, we both know, has been a longtime hater of the president from their New York days. Now he wants a copy of the unredacted court, a copy of the. I mean, this grand jury minutes for starters. What makes him think that he's entitled to it? And number two, what's he going to do with it?
Well, first of all, as far as I'm concerned, he can have it, but I'm not the Attorney General, and the Attorney General can't break the law just for Jerry Nadler. This is the same Jerry Nadler who fought like a maniac against, the Clinton report coming out because it'd be so unfair to the president.
Right.
But, unfair to President Trump doesn't matter. The reality is there's nothing in that redacted material that's any different than you already have read. If you look at the two volumes, the redactions all take place under the collusion one because it involves national security, I imagine. Basically, in the obstruction one, out of 200 pages, there's no more than 2 pages redacted, and they're mostly footnotes. I bet Jerry doesn't read footnotes.
Yeah. Well, the amazing part is, the categories are clear of exemptions. They're mandated. Bill Barr isn't doing this. It's grand jury material, sources and methods, pending cases, privacy of third parties. We're not making that stuff up, so I don't know what their problem is on that one. But what do you think he's going to do with this stuff? In the end, what
he has?
Yeah. What's he going to do with it? Yeah.
Well, the one thing that is clear is, and they make it clear in their report, they didn't any of these things, they didn't find enough evidence in order to justify a charge.
Right.
They say, and right at the beginning they say, we can't conclude that the president, there's not enough evidence sufficient to show that the president committed a crime.
Right.
Of course, that, as you know, is the end of it, right?
It's over now. Any prosecutor knows that.
You don't say anything else. The rules of ethics say you keep quiet for a very good reason. You're hitting somebody who can't hit back.
Right. And to prove a negative.
You can't test. Like I could point to all sorts of things about Michael Cohen that should have been pointed out that he's lying about. Some of it they know and they're withholding. So this was a very unfair thing to do. Having done it, it's a yawner. You just look at it and you say, I got through it, and I looked at it and I said to my co-counsel, there's nothing new here. We're fine.
Yeah. Well, look.
I mean, the only thing that makes it a little deceptive, they put all the garbage in one place.
Yeah. Well, they did, and they categorized it for us. But you know, the interesting thing is that now they're going after Bill Barr. No surprise, they hate anybody who is in favor of the rules that are supposed to apply. Now, Attorney General Barr is not legally required to even release the full Mueller report. The report is written to be given to the Attorney General. And all of a sudden, everybody is criticizing him when he did everything he could to do the summary, to do the required redactions, and they are still gunning for him.
Well, I can't understand it, and I think nobody believes it. If you just look at Bill Barr and you listen to him and you look at his background, this looks like completely phony political garbage. I mean, somebody on there, I don't know if it was Nadler or somebody else, called him a political hack. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The guy has been a distinguished lawyer, a former attorney general. He got confirmed unanimously when Bush nominated him. Should have been confirmed unanimously now.
I mean,
nobody had a problem with him.
Yeah, it was like 93-7 or something crazy
okay,
like that.
So pretty close to unanimous.
Yeah.
And you know him, I know him. He's a very distinguished member of the bar.
Definitely.
He is not going to put his reputation in jeopardy to do anything dishonest or sneaky. And every single thing he said is, if this weren't President Trump and all these media people who hate him, he'd be getting praised today for having restored a sense of law, justice, and sanity to what had become a media circus.
Yes, indeed. Rudy Giuliani, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you,
All right.
Judge. You're always the best.
Thank you.